Good morning. Welcome to Thursday. Welcome to August 11th, where 5 years ago, Reverend Tracy Blackman, the head of Justice and Witness for the United Church of Christ, Associate General Minister, and a group of other clergy were gathered in a church in Charlottesville, Virginia, to support counter-demonstrators for the Unite the Right rally. It was a collection of neo-Confederates, white supremacists, neo-Nazis, and they were there to proclaim, "You will not replace us." It was a Friday night, and Blackman was preaching to the crowd gathered, and it was a standing room only crowd, and she joked, "This is the only time I've preached to a standing room crowd on a Friday night." But it was the rare moment of levity in an otherwise grim context. The residents and clergy gathered at St. Paul's Memorial Church were there to worship, but outside, something else was happening. She preached, "When violence and hatred are flourishing, it is necessary that love show up. When hatred is all around, when violence is the language of the day, when laws lack compassion and churches lose their way, then we who believe in freedom, we who believe in God, we must question, where have all the prophets gone?" She said, "Here I am, 54 years old, coming back because the Klan is still rising." And yes, soon tiny flashes could be seen flickering in the distance outside the windows, but they weren't street lights, but tiki torches held aloft by white supremacists. A teeming mob, about 300 strong, with many in matching white polo shirts, were screaming racist and anti-Semitic slogans as they walked menacingly around. The congregation in St. Paul's could hear the hateful chants and see the torch flames flickering through the windows. Worse, police were nowhere to be found, even as violent scuffles broke out between racists and students. Cornel West was there too. He said they just surrounded the place. It took you back to the old days of the violence-ridden Jim Crow, where you knew that you were being targeted and that the rise of violent power was arbitrary and could come your way. Most of us were pretty shaken, no doubt about it. And inside the church, worship organizers were taking no chances. They locked down the building, they held the doors shut, and instructed worshipers to stay inside. Unbeknownst to most attendees, however, the danger was already inside. A white supremacist was there live streaming the event to his followers. Meanwhile, the congregation tried to drown out the hateful bellowing with hymns of hope. We were locked in there for a couple of hours, just singing and praying. But at some point, organizers began escorting people out the back doors to avoid attracting attention. Reverend Tracy Blackman was defiant. A black woman raised in Birmingham, Alabama, where she witnessed the Ku Klux Klan as a child. She said she wasn't going to slip out the back. She insisted that she and West would leave through the front. When I opened the door, all I could see, as far as I could, were flames. People were chanting, "You will not replace us. Jews will not replace us." And I decided that this one time, I might go out the back door. I don't know how many people remember that this church service happened the night before this big rally that day when Heather Heyer was killed by the violence of the white supremacist neo-Confederates, neo-Nazis. I'm going to tell more of this story. This is just the beginning of the story that I want to associate, or that I'm going to tell on Sunday as part of my sermon. Because the text, it's one of Jesus' most confounding texts. He says, "I did not come to bring peace, but to divide households, 5 against 3, mother against father, or mother against daughter and daughter-in-law." It's a confounding text. But when you think about it in the context of this 5-year anniversary of Charlottesville, I think there's a message in there somewhere. And so I have just begun working on that. This is a taste of it. I hope that you'll join us in worship on Sunday or watch us on Facebook or YouTube at any time. And with that, I hope you have a grateful day. Bye.